Now we'll create the harness for the proximity sensor. And first thing I want to point out to you is that on the back of the proximity sensor, back as opposed to where the two cylinders are that send out the signals, there's a series of little pins that come out here, and there's some white marking on the proximity sensor board itself that aligns with each of these pins. This one says, and I've got it upside down here, but this one says VCC, this one is trig, echo, and GND for ground. Those will be important designations, and we'll want to keep track of how we do the connection. I want you to put the jumper wire clamp onto these, connected onto these pins with these little silver contacts exposed. So it'll be facing upward in the same direction as this side of the circuit board. And that means that this wire, one on this end, will be connected to VCC, this yellow one to trig, this green one to echo, and the blue one to ground. And then we'll want to connect the wires on the RJ11 jack very specifically so that the ground wire is connected to the proper color wire on the RJ11 cable or set of wires. But first thing we'll do is we'll just cut our two lengths to size, and as we did with the buzzers, we'll just slice off half of these wires at about 50 millimeters, so right around in this area. And that can go in the trash. And we'll slice these off. We're going to keep all four of these wires. We'll slice these off at about 40 millimeters. About in there. Again, doesn't have to be exact. But now I'm going to get out my connector table, my wiring table. And I'm going to write down these colors. So, get some right width. All right, and I've got these rows are in the same order as the markings on the circuit board. VCC, trig, echo, and ground. So I can just take this part, and write in that VCC will be orange, trig will be yellow, echo will be green, and ground is blue. And then I'll use this information when connecting the wires of the RJ11 jack. I want to make sure I connect black with orange, red with yellow, green with green. These things are just coincidental. And yellow with blue. I'll go ahead and separate these wires carefully. I don't want to rip the other end out of the clamp. And we'll do it one connection at a time. I'll take orange and connect it to black. Move the other wires out of the way while I do this. I'll line their ends up. Grab one of these connectors, turn it upside down so the yellow cylinder is pointed downward. Make them about the same length again. Push each wire into a separate opening. Slide them all the way down to the far end. Push it all the way down to the far end. And hold it that way, pushed in. And clamp. Looks good. Everybody's still in place. Nobody slipped. Then I want yellow to red. Yellow jumper wire to red wire on the RJ11 jack. Peel the other ones back. And repeat. Push them all the way in. Good. I did do a little tug on them here just to make sure I have them both captured. The green jumper wire has to go to the green wire on the RJ11 jack. That one's a little easier to see. In. Okay, one left to go. Blue and yellow have to connect to each other. I slide my thumb and forefinger down to grab the bottom of the connector here so I can kind of hold them together while I use my other hand to do the clamping with the pliers. All right, there we're done, and all I have to do is remember that when I attach the harness to the sensor, I keep the little silver contacts up and shove it on like that. And that harness is now a lot like this harness the one we started with. So we'll repeat that process for the other slide here, and it's important to go ahead and fill in all these colors as you go. If everything works out as expected, this won't be of any interest later on. But if you do have problems with any of the connectivity to the various components, it'll be nice to be able to trace how the connection goes all the way back from the Raspberry Pi Pico through the RJ11 jacks and telephone wires all the way to the sensor itself. Maybe you can do some continuity testing. All right, so I'll go ahead now and just repeat the process for the second proximity sensor.